What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. Go to the link in my description below, sign up, and get a free graphic novel. If you like sort of old superhero stuff, you're going to really enjoy my work. And we'll go over how this Firepower really has a lot of those classic hero vibes to it as we look at this here. All right. This is a book by Robert Kirkman and Chris Samnee, and they are operating under Kirkman's Skybound imprint, which is basically his own deal. The way that these Skybound books are formatted at this point, you can tell that they're being written kind of as TV pilots. It's got that sort of decompressed feel to it, which I really don't like. I'm not gonna lie. But it seems like they're trying to come up with TV programs and have the graphic novel for that so that they can get optioned rather than actually writing comic stories for comic stories' sake. And that's the case with all the decompressed work at this point. You get your pilot, you get your setup, and that way the TV series can continue on. Now, I know there's a couple more volumes of this, and I'm surely they're going to develop the characters and hopefully come to something satisfactorily on this, but that's the first impression that you get is like, okay, this is like a storyboard more than it is a comic book. However, Chris Samnee is probably my favorite working artist right now, at least within sort of the mainstream realm. He's got this look to it that's got like a deceptive simplicity to it, and this is what I really love in comics because I feel like this is the way that comics go. You notice there's just a couple of lines here, but he's really defined this guy's face to where he's got a unique face. You can tell who he is very, very easily. The gal here, she's a shaved head monk. She's got her own features, which are very distinct, but again, there's just not that many lines to it. And this is exactly what like Alex Toth did in the way that he drew things back in the day. And Chris Samnee really reminds me of that. So I pick up his work whenever I can. Now, I'm happy that he's doing work outside Marvel DC, even though this, like I said, seems to be a TV pilot concept. It still has the beautiful art to it, which is enjoyable. All right, so it opens up with a dude going to the mountains. Absolutely beautiful scenery. Again, I just love this art. It's really fast paced because there's not a lot of dialogue at the beginning. You get a guy who's kind of looking at some images of his parents as he's crawling through the snow and trying to find this like monastery type of thing to train. And here you go. Now, I immediately opened this up and I'm like, wow, this is the origin of Iron Fist. Exactly. And it really had that going for it quite a bit. So a little too close in my opinion. But I did like Iron Fist, and of course I get that these guys probably like Iron Fist too, so they're probably trying to develop a property similar to that, kind of have their own vibe to it as it goes along. Now it does open up a little differently as it goes along. You don't have that like quick return to New York where he like becomes a superhero or anything like that, but it takes place almost entirely in the monastery here. Now, the monk is a really cool character. I really like this old monk guy who's kind of in charge of everything. He's really into Nike shoes. He's a sneakerhead. And it's really funny because, I know a lot of, I guess, like Asians and Filipinos who are big sneakerheads. And you go over to China or whatnot, they love the Nike basketball sort of stuff. So it's funny to see the monk involved in that. Now, our dude goes into training, and we get a lot of just like quick fights and things like that with different people there. We get a little slice of life about what goes on at the monastery. It's alluded to that there's some supernatural stuff going on, but it's really in the background. There's a lot of like, just slow build. Again, this feels like a TV pilot more than a comic because of how slow it goes. There's a little budding romance between this one gal and the guy who shows up here, and of course romance is forbidden because we don't do such things as monks, and they get in a little bit of trouble for that. And I actually really like that plot line. That's probably my favorite part of the whole comic because I like those forbidden romance kind of storylines. Just kind of my gig right there for sure. Art is very pretty. I love the coloring too. I mean, I should actually give the colorist a little more credit here because you can see how intricate these colors are. Matt Wilson is the colorist. Look at this. I mean, you get the blues on this page, the reds on this page. It's just very nice. I enjoyed reading it on that level. and get a lot of cool shading here. You can tell Samnee is like kind of experimenting with some stuff, which is fun. All right. Yeah, the black borders really on these pages even make it more cinematic to be more TV-like. All right. What's cool, it is pretty PG so far. I like that there's an airship, of course, and it's a good start. So this is a prelude, I guess. And so you get this, and then at the very end, after this giant battle that goes on, you see this 15 years later, and it's just a dude grilling. He just wants to grill, and he's just kind of thinking about things, and somebody's about to attack him, I guess. And so that's it. And it's a cool introduction to the monastery. You get there's basically two warring factions of these like martial art monk people, and one of them's called like the Burning Fist or something like that. That's why it's called Firepower. And I guess they do create some like energy where they, with their hands, where they can punch harder, like Iron Fist. And they also it's interesting, there's a part of it where they actually heat up their own food just by thinking of it, by holding their bowls. So it's a little more than just the typical superhero punch hard with some extra energy sort of thing. The other one's called Scorched Earth, so a lot of the fire themes there, a lot of fire and ice themes throughout the entire book. Well done on that level. The thematic, the sort of motifs in there are actually really well done. Again, I love the art so much. Chris Samnee can do anything, and I'll probably pick it up. Overall, it's an interesting start. The character you learn is part of this. His parents were part of this like scorched hand thing, and they basically want to bring about this apocalypse and just destroy the earth. They're kind of like a weird cult, and so you learn that they're kind of going to be on the attack. There's something going on with it, but you don't learn enough, I guess, to really get a clear and present threat. To see like any sort of plans that are going on. Now it is labeled just prelude, so I guess I don't know what that means. So it is like a prologue more than anything else. But for how long it is, you really need to establish a little bit more of a threat on that point, to get the plot going and to get the reader invested. As I said, character-wise, the main character, you kind of are invested in his plights, you're invested in his past. Really great characterization all the way around. The characters are very distinct. They're very good. So that makes me carry on, and it does make me interested enough to read into the next volume. So I am interested in that because of the character level of things. Overall, I got to give this probably an 8 out of 10. I think I needed a little bit more plot-wise to start here. I know Volume 2 is out as of this writing. There will be a Volume 3 coming out soon. So I look forward to that and seeing how this goes. Interesting stuff. I just wish they'd dial back that decompression. You got to punch the pacing in comics a little bit more story to it, and that's just a failing of modern writing, in my opinion. All right, hit that like and subscribe button, and we will be back soon with some more comic book reviews.